Hey guys, Amy Garish here, real estate agent with Realty Executives and market analyst in the real estate industry. So let's talk about what's happening in Phoenix right now. Love to share my screen and pull up some stats. Let's see here. All right. So these are the numbers for June. I can pull up some live numbers for July as well because today is July 22nd. This particular dashboard, I believe the numbers come out, I don't know, on the 5th of the month or the 15th or something like that. So, so these are the June numbers. What I want to look at is what is so important right now is number of listings. Number of listings continue to grow in Phoenix. These are active listings. And then when we overlay that with the number of sold listings, you can see that the relationship between the two, like there's a big gap starting to happen as listings rise and buyer demand is falling. That's going to have a negative impact on pricing. So what we've got here, let's look at pending listings. So overlaying the pending listings on here, so you can see that pending listings are even lower going into July. We've got, let's see, 1,286 pending listings, 2,877 active listings. Let's see what Phoenix has on the market. That says in the Valley. Let's put in Phoenix in here. Let's look at the active listings right now in July because that is a little bit old. So we're at 3,319 active listings. Status of active going into its July, like I said, July 22nd. Let's come back and look at here. And we were at 2,877. So inventory is still continuing to rise going into July. And I would imagine demand is continuing to fall. So we were at the end of June, we were at 1,286 pending listings. And that is the best indicator looking at the future of demand. So if we come and we check the box for pending, it removed active. We're at 933 pending listings right now. That number has gone down dramatically. We were at 1,200 and now we are well below 1,000. So that to me is concerning. Demand is continuing to fall in the Phoenix market. And so that means pricing is going to fall as well. Let's take a look at average price over here. We can see that the average list price took a tumble going from May into June. Guarantee you July is going to see this trend down as well, because if we look at the pending average price, this is what homes are going under contract for. So we're seeing like, or these are the homes that people are putting offers on, right? So yeah, huge difference. So if your house is listing at 665, guess what? The average price buyers are buying right now is 535. So 502 going into June. So the number even went down 30,000 from May into June. So pricing in Phoenix is continuing to fall. It started falling here. It looked like it peaked out in April. May it fell, June it fell. Guarantee you July is going to fall as well, because we just saw that pending listings are down to 900 and active listings are up to over 3,300. So Phoenix is looking a little concerning right now. If you're trying to sell a house, you have to be competitive. You have to be move-in ready. You have to have those repairs done. Probably offer some kind of an interest rate buy down to get buyers to purchase your house over the one down the street that could be the same price. If you're offering an interest rate buy down, if both of your houses are at 500,000, but you're buying down that rate a little bit, that payment is going to be better looking for the buyer versus the neighbor down the street who's not doing it. So there's some things that we can do to get your house sold. There's some strategies and pricing strategies and preparing your house to sell and all of the things that we used to have to do as real estate agents that we didn't do for a really long time, because in the past 2 years, all we had to do is stick a sign in the yard and 20 buyers came running with offers, cash offers, investors. Those buyers are no longer in this market. So you really have to bring your best foot forward if you are looking to sell your house. Let's talk about a couple other statistics here before we move on. Absorption rate is really, how many months inventory do we have? So you can see we kind of bottomed out here at 0.65. So almost a little bit more than a half a month of inventory. And now we're at a month and a half of inventory. So inventory has tripled in the past few months. The sold to list ratio is also important. This is telling you if you can get more for your house, right? If you list your house for 500,000, are you going to get 515? You can see this line continues to fall, and we were at getting more than asking price, 103%. Now we're falling to about 100%. So right now we're flat. If you're listing your house, let's see, sold price, so pending price. So if you're listing your house for a good amount, you could still get over asking price. So you can see that people are looking at that $500,000 range now and saying like, oh, I want to put an offer on that. But there could be like 3 other buyers in that range now, right? Because the sellers are still at 651, right? And they're out here being like totally unreasonable. So if you're listing your house at an average, price or a little bit under market value, you could still get more than, because the sellers are still so unrealistic and there are less people being competitive in this market. Like nobody wants to drop the price of their house, right? So that's why we're seeing this number. I would imagine going into July with what we just looked at with active inventory and pending inventory, that we're going to see this in July, bottom down, closer to the 99%, 98% range. So I'm calling that now. We'll take a look next month and see what happens. Let's see, what else do I want to talk to you guys about? Let's look at the MLS as a whole, like the whole Phoenix market. There's a couple of things I want to talk to you guys inventory wide. So this chart right here goes back to 2012. So we've got 10 years of new listings hitting the market, right? So it starts at 2012. It doesn't quite go back to that 2006, 2007, 2008 market where we had that last recession and the full-on housing crash. But I think that it's important that I might go dig up those numbers for us to look at some point, because what we see here in 2022, like new listings coming to the market, there was like nothing trickling in at 7,000, right? Like we didn't even see 7,000 maybe in November, right? In like the coolest part of the market. But to see 7,000 coming into February, like that isn't unheard of, right? This is when inventory comes to the market because buyer demand usually heats up in this time of year, and the buyers needed inventory because this is when people bought houses. They put their homes under contract February, March, April, May, right before school gets out, and then they can move and enjoy their summer and take their time unpacking in the heat. That's usually what our trend looks like, right? But what's concerning to me is that in May, we had 11,000. We've not had 11,000 homes hit the market in May in the past decade. If I look at those 2008 numbers or 2007 numbers, I would be interested in seeing what the inventory looked like during that time, like going 2007, 8, 9, 10, maybe. I think we bottomed out that market in 2009 to 2011. So in June, again, 12,000 new listings coming to the market. I'm sure July is going to be just as insane. So one thing I'm keeping an eye on is, are those numbers going to look like those 2008 market crash numbers, right? Because right now, we're in a liquidity bubble. We had so many cash buyers here, just like fueling our market, that we just had cash and money everywhere. And so that's what I call a liquidity bubble. Now, since interest rates are higher, the cash buyers are also stepping back, right? And so we're seeing that liquidity, we're seeing that bubble kind of burst, right? Doesn't mean market crash until we get to certain analytics, certain numbers, and certain concerning numbers to me, right? And so what I'm looking for is an unbalanced market. And so what I want to see is when we were in that housing crash and like that peak of like, oh my God, we have all this friggin' inventory. We had like over 50,000 homes on the market here. And that's really all those foreclosures and short sales and everybody listing their houses because they couldn't afford them and all that mortgage-backed security garbage. And, you know, it was just like a nightmare and a mess. Right. And so we had so much inventory and that really was pushing pricing down below normal, right? So right now we were in a liquidity bubble, right? We had all this cash fueling prices coming up. And so our prices need to cool down. But what I am watching is that are they going to cool down below a certain metric and is inventory going to rise above like a balanced market, right? And all of these artificially kind of, not artificially, but all these high interest rates and buyer demand slowing so much, like we're kind of coming into like this artificial kind of crash, right? Where like interest rates are so high, prices are so high. So prices are going to pull back to get some balance back in the market. But if we go below balance, then to me, that's a crash. So that's what I'm looking for. We're not there yet, so don't panic. But if you're a buyer in this market, lots of opportunities coming, lots of opportunities I would imagine will continue to come through the end of the year. I want to show you guys something here. This is realtor.com. I wanted to show you this because realtor.com has a cool feature called price reduced. My own website isn't really even like that awesome, like with this price reduced function. But we have price reduced and then we can check out new construction that are showing price reductions. So what I'm looking at here is like opportunity, right? If you're looking to purchase a house, and I know interest rates are kind of high, but this is opportunity to keep watching these price reductions and to waiting for, if you want a brand new house, like, hey, like, let's do it, right? Because you can always refinance later. Like what you're going to see, I don't have my crystal balls. I can't really tell you for sure, but like my strategy would be like, yeah, like interest rates are a little high. They're still historically like lower than average. Like when I bought my first house, I was at 6.25, you know, but prices were also lower. But what I think we're seeing right now is like the government is tightening its belt. It's slowing down this liquidity, right? It needs to get a handle on all of this liquidity in the market because of this inflation. And so they're raising the interest rate. So eventually there will be an interest rate reprieve at some point. Do I think it's going to be in the next 6 months? No, it could be a year or two down the line, but eventually there will be a reprieve. And when that happens, like you could always refinance. So that is an option if you're willing to take that risk. If not, continue waiting for prices to come down. So, but there's tons of opportunity here in this new build construction, price reductions coming down. They're probably offering some kind of incentive. Like if you use their lender, they'll probably pay all your closing costs. If you probably offering some design credit, some upgraded tile or something like that. Look, it's like literally like right here, like look at here's what you get, like, you know, $11,000, $9,000, price reduced $445,000 in Scottsdale. Like just this house used to be $1.3 million and now it's under $1 million. Like there is price reductions happening. And so if you're looking for a deal, like start looking at new construction, right? I mean, if you're looking for a deal, like literally any house on the market right now is probably having to reduce their price. But look, 63,000, 15,000. If we're going to take advantage of somebody, let's take advantage of some of these builders, right? They're probably looking, like I said, concessions, right? Paying your closing costs. You can get a price reduced. You can probably get some design stuff. You can probably ask them for anything right now, and they will probably say yes. I'll put a link in this video with a link to my new construction site. You can see all the floor plans and all that kind of stuff. I do offer a rebate. So if you are looking, again, you can get this price reduction, you can probably get closing costs, you can get a rebate at the end. One of the services that I offer as a real estate agent. So lots of opportunity here if you're a buyer. Like I said earlier, if you're a seller, just make sure that your house is move-in ready, it's clean, repairs are done. We're offering probably some kind of interest rate buy down, lots of strategies that we can look at with pricing and things like that. So always happy to chat with you guys about selling or buying a house here in the Valley. I will see you guys next month with the latest numbers when I get the end of July. So have a great weekend, guys.